you talk about it earlier this week, but the team mindset that you guys need to have this year and kind of going over that individuality, how does that reflect into just going into this season? Because it seems like you've touched on that a lot.
Well, bottom line, that's what you've got to get to. You've got to get a group of individuals that are interested in doing something collectively. They're interested in an ultimate goal of winning week in and week out. And we do. We have some outstanding young men. We have some extremely talented guys, and they're all going to have unbelievable careers as they go through it. But the ultimate prize is still there in front of them to be that first group at Powell High School to put a run together and to win it. And so, that's their mindset. That's what we're trying to accomplish every day on the practice field, is to get a group of guys together so that they can finally put one season.
And then how do you do that this offseason with talking about the amount of talent that you have and the amount of different recruitments that these guys are going through as well?
Well, I think a lot of it starts in the weight room, and so, that can never be, underappreciated. Those guys in there at 7 a.m. working their tails off together, you've got too much sweat equity and things at that point to leave anything in the tank. And so on Friday nights, the guy beside you and you know yourself, you're going to play as hard as you can play every single snap. And, as long as every guy on the field is doing that exact thing, you think you give yourself a chance to win.
Can you talk about Aiden and Adarius a little bit and the excitement that those guys bring to your offense?
Well, they're extremely talented players. Redmond's been doing this since his freshman year, and the plays he's been making over the last 3 years. I guess over the last 2 years, I forget. He's still only a rising junior, but he's been incredible, and he's obviously been that big play and that big spark for a long time. And then certainly to have Aiden Green come on the scene last year, and he's just such a long, athletic kid out there that he creates his own natural mismatches out there. But really his next step and what he certainly did the second half of the season is his ability to run after he catches it. And so we are very blessed. We are very gifted. Jordan Potts is probably more gifted than any of us, that he's got that number of guys to throw the ball to, and once they have it in their hands, they've got a chance to score.
And you talk about, I want to address Jordan as well, but firstly with Aiden and Adarius, what step do you need to see from those guys this season?
I think a little bit for Redmond, he's got to find that consistency. He is 100% a wow football player, but he's got to find the consistency, as a route runner, as a blocker, as a guy who's going to do it right every single snap. And so he has moments, and he's probably clicking 70-80% of doing it right. So now we've got to find a way to push him to do it 90 to 100% right every single snap. And so for Green, he's got to become more physical. He has all these ability to run, jump, and move, but he's got to take that next step as a football player. And so he does a great job for us, and we expect both of them to have big years this year.
And then lastly, Jordan, you look at obviously his huge play against Powell or Anderson County last year that everybody talks about, but how much motivation is there for him this year? He talked to me about kind of wanting to prove that wasn't a fluke. Mr. Football semi-finalist, and everything that he's done. How much motivation is there for him, and how much fun is it to watch him kind of taking that and spinning it this offseason?
It's awesome, and that's one of the best self-motivating kids I've ever been around. He shows up every single day to go to work, and so the only thing you got to do with him every now and then is pull him back a little bit and calm him down, because he'd be out there 10 hours a day throwing footballs and working and wanting. He just soaks it all in all the time. And so he's really he's a high motor, high competitive type kid, and he wants to make every throw, and he wants to there's never a down play. I tell him sometimes, hey, just throw it away. 2nd and 5 ain't a bad play sometimes, and but for him, he's got that competitiveness. He wants to try and make a play every time.
Talk about kind of the excitement that's been created at Powell this offseason. Obviously the first round exit last year wasn't what you guys wanted, but how that expectation has risen. And talking to players, they say that the goal is a state championship, and what's been created there.
Well, I think it's awesome. I think it speaks a lot for these young men. A lot of these guys have now been out there on the field as starters for 2 or 3 years, some of them. And so, their sights have changed. What they want to accomplish have changed. And so, you continue always as a coach and as a coaching staff to try and push that bigger than me type mentality. But I think these guys get it at the same time. They want to be that unit to finally, get over that hump and find a way to get it done.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.